Hello, Memphis. I'm Drake Oakey, Athletic Director here at Memphis Community Schools. I'm very happy to be back and go over some of the things to finish up our winter sports program. We had a nice opportunity to come and meet with you a few months ago. Unfortunately, because of the delay, we've had to hold off, and what we wanted to do was give an entire segment to our girls basketball program, because they have not only done some fantastic things on the court this year, they've improved dramatically, they're doing a really good job, they've done some fantastic work in the classroom. Our kids, our girls have represented Memphis very proudly, be it in home games, away games, as well as our tournament this year. They did a great job, but they did a fantastic job, and throughout the state, one of the highest ranked teams academically throughout the state. So we're very proud of our girls. And in doing so, a little bit of a delay. We had planned on meeting with our guest today, who is Mark Carlson. Mark Carlson is our girls varsity basketball coach. He's been here for 2 years. He's had over 20 plus years of experience. We're proud to have him in our program. And Mark, we're proud to have you here today.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Well, it's a little bit of a delay. You know, we're wearing a lot different clothes than we were 3 months ago, but you know, we wanted to be able to have we wanted to have a special segment, if you remember, on behalf of our girls program, because of all the great things they're doing, not only on the court, but most importantly in the classroom. So first off, I want to say congratulations on a very good developmental year, where you've got a lot of young girls, you got your whole team coming back, and you got to be pretty excited about that.
Oh, yeah. You know, it was a lot of fun. You know, we were super young, having 5 freshmen and you know, a couple juniors to lead us, and Katie and Mira, you know, kind of gave us the experience. But to get, you know, to double our win total this year and get 4 wins playing a varsity schedule with really a freshman team, and to compete, you know, it really felt like we competed this year. Sometimes the scores didn't show it, but we were really in almost every game for a while, and you know, to try to learn the game of basketball at a speed, just a different speed. You know, the girls know what they're doing, they say the right things, they know what they're looking for. It's just a matter of adjusting to the speed. The future's looking really, really bright. That was a real learning experience, a quick learning curve, but it's going to pay off big time.
You know, you touched on one point I thought was very important, that we were so young. There was maybe some talk, wow, should we, you know, maybe play a JV schedule, not have a varsity, but I think the girls were pretty adamant that they wanted to compete, and I don't think they let you down. I mean, you know, as a fan watching your games, as you said, most games and now, we were, you know, in it towards the end, and if we weren't, you were still fighting. And,
you know, they never quit. You know, that was the thing with these girls is, you know, we talked early about what, you know, you play, our league's tough. I mean, you play the Sandusky's and the Brown Cities and, you know, Harbor Beach, and, you know, Ubley won the league this year. You know, you're playing seniors, just the physical difference in addition to the speed. You know, we just talked about we weren't going to look at the scoreboard. We were just going to take one play at a time, and we were going to battle, and we were going to control what we could control. And, you know, when we didn't look at the scoreboard and we just took it one play at a time, we would fight and we would fight and we would fight. And then there were nights, yeah, we might have lost by 30, but we didn't know it till we looked up, because it just felt like we were in game. The difference is they're juniors and seniors and they're finishing shots. We're getting the shots, we just don't make them yet, because we were freshmen or we were a sophomore, or, you know, or even our 2 juniors would do their part, but, you know, we were getting the same shots as the other team. We just aren't able to finish those shots yet. We're in, next year we'll make more, but when we're juniors and seniors and we're finishing those shots, we're going to be the ones beating teams by 20 to 30. So if we didn't look at the scoreboard, it never felt like we were down 20 or 30 for most of those games.
Well, I as a fan, I could say the same thing. You know, there were a lot of games that we just look up and, oh, it's a 20-point game, and next thing you know, it may be still 20, but it wasn't playing like a 20-point game.
No.
You know, it was back and forth and stuff like that. So I know that brought a lot of excitement to the crowd, and I could see the attitude with the girls too. Like they walked off the court, like they knew they accomplished something, but they weren't happy with it. They want more.
Right.
And that's what I thought. You touched on your two juniors. You're in a unique position that majority of your kids, and then I know you should have a pretty good influx of 8th graders coming into 9th grade next year. And it's the first time in years that we may look at having a JV, hopefully. It's possible. But whether you do or not, you mentioned the two juniors you have, and you have everybody coming back, and that's pretty unique in high school sports, let alone high school basketball. And so the leadership that those two girls have had to show last year, I think should, would you think that'll help you? And what kind of character are those two girls to do that for?
I mean, I think it's going to be tremendous. Katie Cook has been doing a fantastic job. Both her and Mira are when the gym's open, they're there. Katie spent a tremendous amount of time last summer working on her shot. And she's in the unenviable role of she's playing out of position. Katie's forced to play point guard because we don't have anybody else, but that's not her natural position. Her natural position is the shooting guard. And with Bartels now, who's more of a point guard next year, now that she's got a year under her belt, we can probably move Katie back to her more of a natural position, which is a shooting guard, and that's going to help her out because she's our best shooter by far. So it's going to allow her to free up and do what she does best. And Mira handles the blocks. She controls the paint. So with those two kind of leading in different areas and helping those freshmen really in different areas on the floor, and when we get some of those influx of 8th graders and we can get better numbers, if we can even get to 10 now or 11, and the JV team would be crucial. Really you got to learn by playing, but our girls love to run. It's funny because I remember when you came here, when I came here, you're like, I don't know what these girls can do, and Gino said they like to play zone. I'm like, no, they're not going to play zone. Trust me, by the time we're done. And you can ask the girls. There was a game like, can we, I'm like, okay, we're going to try a zone. They're like, no, can we just, I'm like, what's going on? We were halftime up in Marlette, and we were down because Leah was out with her knee, and somebody else was sick. I'm like, we got 6 girls. I'm like, okay, we're going to go to a zone. And they always looked at me, and I'm like, what is the matter? Do you even want to play? And finally, Katie speaks up and goes, can we just play, man? Can we just do what we do? I'm like, have at it. And we play so much better, but when we can get more girls and we can get back to pressing, which the girls love and they're phenomenal at it, and we can get these games going fast, we're just going to be that much better.
Well, one of the games you won at the beginning of the year, I think you were down. I think it was a close game, and I had to do a couple things. I came back, also you're down 12. I'm like, really? And you threw a press on, and I think you got the lead very quickly, and then actually blew them out pretty good. I mean, you beat some very formidable, the win at the tournament this year against Clinton is a recognizable team, so you definitely, the future is definitely positive.
Oh, it's huge.
A lot of that credit does go to you, you've given a lot of stability to the program. You've had to do it on your own, you really have. But with that being said, the girls have bought in. Which shows that their character, but also it shows that they followed your character and your mentorship. We know that, and that's why we're proud to have you here.
Thank you.
And when you got girls like that, the girls individually, I know them all individually, and they're enjoyable kids too, and that's the best thing.
The parents have done a fantastic job with those kids. If anything, they're too nice.
There's a couple girls though. There's a couple that.
Oh, they have a couple, but I need more of them. It's like, okay, when you're between the black lines, I need a little more meanness. They are. Any one of those kids you'd be proud to call your daughter. And I haven't done it by myself. Caitlin, my daughter, has helped me out tremendously with those girls and that team, and they relate to her very well, and but without their attitude and their willingness to work and that's instilled in them by their parents. it's a great situation all the way around, and you're gonna try to build something. You need those type things in place, and everything's there. Now we just need some more bodies. And when all those things will come together, and I think they're gonna start to now, it's just a matter of time before we're back on the map and competitive every year.
Well, Coach, another thing you do have going for you is the girls as a program, have excelled, very highly academically. How do you think that's helped you?
Well, to have smart kids always helps, and I can explain something and have them understand it. It's a little different when, I'm having them try to drop a play and go play it, but, BCAM, you can fill out and apply for an all-academic award, and I did the paperwork this year, and we ended up 13th in the state in Class C, which is great. You send in every girl's GPA and how many credits they passed and stuff, and we ended up 13th. I forget what our overall GPA was, which is a fantastic achievement. And again, that's not me, that's them. Now, I set the expectation, don't get me wrong, and they are fully aware that if their grades they don't have to be ineligible. They know if they're even slipping, I'm not gonna play them. And that expectation's there. I can help them in math, I teach math. But other than that, they need to help each other, and they need to do what they do, and they know. Doesn't mean that they're gonna tell me, hey, I have homework, I can't come to practice. We talk a lot about time management and those type things, but they are, again, it goes back to the type of kids they are. But it also comes back to one thing I can do is set that expectation and let them know that, we're just not gonna tolerate anything less. And when you set a high bar, it's amazing what people can achieve, and they usually do. And those girls will do anything to hit that bar, and they always hit that bar.
And the great thing about it is most of them are multi-sport athletes too.
Well, that's another bar I set. They need to be. Again, and I've told them this, and we've talked to the school before, and if you want to be the best athlete you can be, you need to be multi-sport. There are things that they're going to get out of playing volleyball that I just can't teach. Whether it's more team play, the explosiveness from jumping repeatedly, I can't teach that. Whether it's in golf, it gives them a mental edge. Softball, it gives them a mental, there's more mental stuff there. The reaction, the knowing what's going to happen, or track, the fine tuning. Every sport contributes something to being an all-around athlete. In addition to, it's just better for their bodies. You don't get the repetitive injuries. I was fortunate enough to have two kids who both played college athletics. And if you've ever actually talked to a college coaches don't want one sport athletes. Unless you're, the blue chip stud, unless you're, Cassius Winston, who was not a one sport athlete, by the way. Tom Izzo does not recruit one sport athletes. And my son played tennis at Wayne State, and Caitlin played volleyball and basketball in college. That's what's better for them. It's better for their bodies. It's better for their mind. It's better for everything. So I expect them to be playing other sports, whether it's cross country, whether it's volleyball in the fall, track, softball, soccer. I don't care what it is. I expect them to be doing other sports. I do not want them to be sitting at home, not doing anything.
No. And most of the, ironically, your better players and your better leaders are multi-sport. I know a couple of them are three-sport athletes. So, I know one of the things that we talked about in the past as well, we have a new volleyball coach coming in this year, and one of the things that I put down as a prerequisite when I was interviewing, what's your thoughts on, AAU compared, because a lot of coaches, you gotta go play AAU, and it takes away from the school sport. And there's nothing wrong with AAU, but not if it comes, at the loss of what they could be doing for the school. And that's not that just for the school, but, to use those different muscles, to use those different, hear those different coaching philosophies and not just, the ratio, and again, I apologize, I haven't looked at it now in about a year since we did the last test, but the ratio is like 85%, coach, maybe you can help me, it's like 85% of the kids that, focus on one sport don't even finish their high school career. It was a pretty high ratio.
They're either injury or burnout
Yeah.
or something. The thing unless there's a reason, if you're trying, in some bigger schools you try maybe and you get cut from a basketball team or there's a reason you can't do another sport. But in a school district our size, you're giving up too much. You're giving up time with your friend. That's time away from your friends. You're spending time away from your friends on the weekend. You're missing time with the people you go to school with to go be with. Now, granted, I'm not saying they're not your other friends, but you're paying to go be with these other people, and for what? Like I said, I'm fortunate enough to have my kids. Caitlin played college volleyball at University of Michigan Dearborn and never played AAU volleyball a single day in her life.
What's the name of that college?
Yeah, I don't want to say University of Michigan because I'm go green, go white. But hey, they gave her money to play there, so she can follow the money. And same thing with basketball. There's more to it. There's more to being a high school student and a teenager than just being that one sport athlete. And like I said, unless you're that blue chip, and if you're that blue chip, they know who you are before you're in high school playing AAU. You know who you are and they know who you are. I think the trade-off, I'm not sure the trade-off's worth it, because if you want to play college sports, there's a community college, there's a D3 that you're gonna be able to go play at without the AAU, without that stuff and the experiences you're gonna gain. And one more story about Ryan. Ryan played D2 tennis at Wayne State on scholarship. D2 tennis, if you've ever paid attention, they don't even recruit Americans. They're all foreign kids. When Ryan went, there were 10 or 11 kids on his team at Wayne State. There were 2 Americans. So I talked to his coach. I said, Brian, I knew Ryan was good, right? He was ranked 6th in the state or something as a senior. I said, why Ryan? I said, this kid's from France, this kid's from Germany, this kid's from India. How? He said, it's easy. He's a 3-sport athlete. He's got things I can't teach. All these other kids have maxed out. His upside is huge. He's explosive. He's the best athlete I have on my team. I can't teach the explosiveness he has. His mental game is better because of golf. That's the type of stuff they look for. It gives you an edge, actually. But you can't make people understand that sometimes, and it's frustrating.
It is.
Because you're just looking out for the best interest of the kid.
And like I said, that's one of the prerequisites with the new volleyball coach we talked about is, meshing and making sure. You talked about our league. We are one of the best leagues in the state for girls basketball. That's a fact. Every year one of our teams are going pretty far, whether it's a Reese even, or of course you said Sandusky, and Kingston's in the area, not in our league, but they're still close. But they all play they play volleyball, play basketball. The majority of those girls, and boys basketball, we had some success this year, and 90% of my kids, are multi-sport athletes, and the 1 or 2 that did not play other sports have in the past. Now they're seniors and they just focused on the one sport. But so that's we've touched on. We had a successful year. You did. There's no doubt about it. And then academically, we're one of the top teams in the state. We're very proud of that. We're talking about how they can continue to move and mold and develop as a team. You've got some good kids coming up in the 8th grade. That'll be in the 9th grade this year, and 7th going to 8th. You've had a chance, I know, watch them play and stuff like that. What are some things you may want to say to those kids that are thinking, I wonder if I should focus? And you already touched on about one sport, but what are some things you want to tell them that why they should definitely play basketball here at Memphis as a girl?
The relationships you're going to build and the work ethic that you're going to develop is going to take you beyond the basketball court. But talk to the girls. We have fun. Don't get me wrong. We work hard, but but you're gonna be part of something special. You're getting in on the ground floor of a program we're gonna build. We're gonna start getting wins. The wins are coming. We doubled them again and fully anticipate doubling them again this year and getting at least 8. You want to be, when we get this thing rolling again, you can say, I was in on the beginning of that. You can be part of helping us build something very, very special again, and make some great, great memories along the way.
Well, and I'll touch it, if you don't mind, I'll just kind of finish. It's a compliment to you and your program. I've been here 3 years. In my first year here, we had some seniors, and, when the season ended, they were proud of what they did, and they should have been, and they went on to their next sport. I knew that we made the turn as a program when, not this past year, but the year before, you had 5, 6 seniors, I think, correct?
6 or 7, yeah.
And every one of those seniors said, we're finally a basketball team. They got whether they won or lost, they got recognition. They felt like they accomplished something. And when you were doing workouts last year, a lot of those seniors showed up. The graduated girls showed up. So they took pride in being part. And we had a situation that, and it, and we had done our winter sports wrap up a few months ago, and we had planned on doing this segment, but things worked out that we couldn't, tie it in. And the senior girls from last year, the alumni, I got phone calls from them. Why are we forgetting girls basketball? I'm like, I'm not forgetting girls basketball. No. By the furthest thing from the match, we had a little situation that we couldn't do it that day, but we planned on doing it the next day, and we were not able to till now. But my point is, I was actually proud of that, because these girls, hey, what about our girls basketball team? So the pride has already been instilled. It's phenomenal.
I love seeing them all come back.
Yeah.
Whether it's at a practice, a couple of them come back and practice with us and fill in, or at a game to see, the 4 or 5 or 6 of them up there together. That means a lot. And I don't know if they know it, but that means a lot that they're coming back and supporting. And even though they might not have had the success, it started with them. Because you can't start winning until you change an attitude, and until you start to believe. And the first thing that has to change is an attitude. And the attitude started to change with them. And this year we were able to start to change some of the skill, because unfortunately, when they all graduated, we really had to start over, with the exception of, I think, we had 4 back, but. This year is different because now we don't have to start from square one again. They all know where we're starting at a different level of building, because I don't have to start with building block A. We already have a foundational knowledge to start building off of now. But those seniors from that first year started the attitude change, and that's the biggest piece. And we couldn't have done it without them.
Well, I can't agree with you enough. Like I said, it was kind of disheartening to get those emails and phone calls, but yet I was proud, because it said, well, that we made the turn, because people were, and it wasn't just parents. It was, like you said, the alumni girls just from a year ago. And that's what you said, that's how it starts. So, Coach, you know how I feel about you being here. You've solidified one of our girl programs. We have a fantastic softball coach. We're hiring a new volleyball coach that's going to bring tremendous energy, and he's going to, he's coached here in the past with the girls and other sports, and he's done a great job of, team continuity and stuff like that. So, and then of course we have a fantastic track coach. So our girl programs, and then we've got soccer, girls soccer, that's won 3 championships in a row, I think. So Memphis wins championships, and we just have to make sure that,
we'll get
continue.
there.
So we definitely were champions academically. And I think we're proud. I know we're proud to have all those girls coming back, as well as having you come back. So
We'll get there.
thanks for coming, Coach.
No problem.
And we look forward to seeing you here in a couple months. And
We'll be in as soon as they open the gym. The girls will be in, and I'll be in, and we'll get to work.
all right.
All right.
Again, thank you, Mark, for showing up. We will return in a few minutes. I'm just going to go over a few things that we will be doing here at Memphis in order to start now our summer workouts for next year. So in a few minutes, we'll see you. Thank you.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back. Again, thank you to Coach Carlson for coming here today and talking about his girls basketball program. He's very proud of them, as we are, and for good reason. So, again, congratulations to Coach Mark and to our girls program. And when I say our girls program, I mean from our varsity all the way down to our 8th and 7th graders that just did a fantastic job all year. Now, I want to take us into spring sports. Spring sports, obviously, those poor kids, they were able to practice their first 2 weeks of the season, and about a week or two away from games, and obviously with the corona, everything had gotten shut down, and a lot of athletes that were seniors never got an opportunity to finish their careers on the fields. And one of the things that we did do here at Memphis was we turn on the lights at the football field every single Friday night to go with the theme of Friday Night Lights in the small city. And that was an honor and representation of all our senior athletes, and actually all our athletes, to be honest with you. But we wanted to do it in recognition to the 2020 for our senior class, our seniors, athletes, and then of course all our athletes. And I want to thank the community because we did it every Friday night. It started out at 8:20, which is 2020 military time, and we held it for 20 minutes. And of course, unfortunately, it kind of extended a lot longer, and the days got longer, and we were turning the lights on, and it wasn't dark, so we then left them on for 2 hours and 20 minutes every Friday night. And then the last week of school, for the seniors, we had them on every single night in honor of not only our seniors, but our senior athletes. And the spring sport athletes, we are planning, if we are able to, hopefully in July, to be able to meet with all of them, have a recognition night like we would do during the normal season, where they can be honored in front of their parents, their teammates, and their peers. So our spring sport athletes are not forgotten. To our seniors, we thank you for all you've done and all your service here for your 4 years. You will be recognized as 4-year players, and you should be recognized as 4-year players. So I just want to, on behalf of Memphis Athletics, and I'll take in part to also Memphis schools and Memphis as a community, we're sorry to see you leave the way you had to leave, but we're proud to have had you for the 4 years that we've had you. And we know that all of you have been very successful for moving on from Memphis. But you always will be a part of our family, and we appreciate how all of you handle things with such dignity. We had some of our kids coming up and parents taking pictures under the score. We had the score clock, scoreboard on 2020 a few times, and the fire department came and they showed support. Community members, I seen drones out there taking pictures and stuff like that. People driving by blowing their horns, and the countless comments in the Memphis Facebook, Memphis memory pages, and just throughout the entire community was fantastic. So, seniors, we love you, we miss you, we wish you the best, and most importantly, we thank you and we say congratulations. So, but if we are able to do anything in the next upcoming weeks, we will definitely, let you know as a community so that you can come out and support our athletes on that day. We're hoping to call it Memphis Day. So, unfortunately, but fortunately, at least we will hopefully be able to have a conclusion to spring sports with some, respect to our senior athletes. Now, to the next year, we're here. And today's actually a big day because we will be meeting with the entire Memphis coaching staff this evening. We have formulated a plan per the governor's order and the MSSA that we are able to start conditioning with our athletes. And we know our kids have been, like the rest of us, probably lying around for 3 months and with nothing else able to do. So we're very excited that we're going to be able to work with our kids again. On behalf of the athletic department at Memphis, as well as the entire school, we have spent a lot of time formulating a plan to guarantee, to the best of our ability, your student-athlete safety. And again, we're meeting with the coaching staff tonight as a whole, from the head coaches to the assistants to the sub-levels coaches, and we put together a plan where when the athletes come to our school, they will be screen checked, they will be, have to wash their hands, they're gonna have to do it with disinfectant soap, we're gonna have disinfectant lotion, we're gonna practice social distancing in our workouts. At this time, they all have to be outdoors. We cannot do anything indoors. But in the parking lots, in our football field, in our fields behind our school, we're going to utilize whatever we can to get our kids conditioned. And basically go back to old school type of training with the push-ups, the sit-ups, and I know the kids will like to hear this, the burpees, and of course good old-fashioned running. So that's where athletic sports and high school sports are at this time. But we're grateful that we can do that. So you have my guarantee that we will do everything we can here at Memphis to ensure the safety not only for your student athlete, but for when they go home. Some of the procedures will be that they have to wash and disinfect when they get here as well as when they leave. We are ordering the quick slide thermometers that we will have to do, and we will record if a student athlete has a temperature. If a student has a temperature of over 100, they will not be able to participate, they will have to go home. We have put together a form that I will be sending out, and we will be listing it. And in this form, it's a parent consent form, and we will need to have that signed. And in it, it tells you what your expectations are of us as a school, what you're going to expect that we will do for you and for your student athlete, but what we need help in doing that. If your student, if your child's at home and they're coughing profusely, they feel tired and drained. Obviously, if they have a temperature, those sort of things, we want to keep them home. Maybe we don't want to have them come that day. And obviously, if it continues, you may want to take your student to, your child to a doctor and get checked, obviously. But, for all intents and purposes, if the student athlete does come and has a temperature, they will have to go home immediately. And then we will have to have a clearance in order to have them come back. So again, it's for their protection, it's for your protection as parents. Our coaches will meet our kids with masks and gloves. We will do temperature checks, making sure they're washed and disinfect. And there will be no bodily contact from anywhere from scrimmaging to any type of physical thing between two players. No high-fiving. It'll be total social distance, at all times. So, this is just a way to get the kids back together, get them back where they belong on the playing field, get our coaches back with them, but we are going to practice thoroughly every single thing that we need to do to ensure the safety of not only the kids, but the coaches and obviously the community. So we're excited about it. We're doing everything we can from our superintendent. We've met with the principal, the assistant principal, I know Mr. Goodby, Mr. Carafa, Keith Corbett, and I have met 2 or 3 times, and we've put together a very, very nice program, and we feel very secure in what we're going to be doing with the kids. So we will probably have another one. We hope, if everything continues to go as well as it appears to, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can go to the next segment where, as Coach Carlson said, we'll be able to get into the buildings and the weight rooms and stuff like that. But until we will be walking around, all of us will be walking around with disinfectant cans and wipes and anything they do touch, we will be cleaning after every use, literally after every use. So what do we need from you parents? Just do your due diligence. We ask you to do your due diligence before your child comes to us, and we promise that we will do it as well before they go home to you. So we're here for you. Please keep them at home for us if things don't look good. And of course, contact your coach. So forms will be going out. There are no physicals needed in order for our student athletes to be able to partake right now. They do not have to have a physical. They will have to have a physical before fall sports starts like any other year. So nothing different there. If a student athlete is sent home for a temperature or, chronic coughing or fatigue or stuff like that, that goes off the checklist that we have, they will not be allowed to come back until they get a COVID check. And that's, again, for their safety as well as everyone else's. So, hopefully we won't be faced with that. And I can promise you that we're going to do the best here to not only develop your athlete, but to also ensure their safety. So we look forward to seeing everybody pretty soon. We're looking forward to hopefully a more enjoyable summer than we had in spring. And we're so glad to be able to come back and meet with you, talk to you, come into your homes and tell you that here at Memphis we're being very proactive. We're excited to get your kids back, and we're going to do what we can to ensure their safety. So, as always, best of luck. Thank you to the Memphis community, and go Yellow Jackets. Till next time, Draco.